Channel, welcome to our live video series. This is the inventory shortage series, and this is what's going on. So I am actually using my own personal vehicle right now because it's easier to show you a comparison between the Telluride and the Santa Cruz. And before you tune out, these are a lot more similar than you might think. And we're going to show you some of the differences that a lot of people don't realize between these two vehicles that makes them very similar, including some shared componentry perhaps. So a lot of people may not be shopping these two initially, but maybe it becomes something that you consider shopping back and forth. So what we're gonna do is we do these videos live every single weekday at 2 o'clock. If you just wanna get to the content and you're not live with us, you can skip ahead to the 3-minute mark where we get into the content. In the meantime, if you wanna stay with us for a second, I'll show you how to join us live, and I'll also talk about some news and some notes and some other things going on. So let's flip the camera around right here. If you want to join us live, you go to our YouTube channel. You can find us pretty easily right there. If you've ever been on YouTube, you probably know how to search it. And if you refresh, you can see down here, there's a regular video there. If you refresh the page exactly at 2 o'clock Eastern time, which is what we're doing right now, December 8th today, you will see that that main video is taken over by our live video. So we're going to hit the live video. You're going to watch a quick little ad. And I'm going to try to skip that ad right now. While I skip that ad, I'm going to run an ad for ourselves. Give me 2 seconds here to skip the ad. There we go. If you are looking for a car in Ontario and you want to buy from a dealership that you can trust, or even just one that's associated with me, and I work with the people here, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to me through the link in the description that will be there as soon as this video is done being posted, and I will connect you with a sales team that will treat you as if you're my family. So that's how we do things around here. All right, what's going on in news and notes? There are some Kia meetings right now, so I'm hoping to find out some new Kia type things going on right now. That probably will come in at the end of the week. As you can tell, there are inventory shortages. If you are buying any kind of desirable car, or frankly, almost any car right now, there's going to be a little bit of a wait involved. So today, right now, we have limited stock on ground in the Kia dealer, as well as the Hyundai dealer, to be fair. So I'm using my personal vehicle again. It happens to have aftermarket wheels. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, inventory is tight on a lot of these cars, and there will be a wait. So if you're planning on getting a new vehicle, just accept that there will be a wait. We at the dealership are doing everything we possibly can to get you your vehicle as quick as possible, but we can't make microchips and stuff. We're not good at that. We also, there's supply chain issues everywhere. There were some weather issues in BC that delayed some trains, which makes this thing super fun. So it's a weird time to be in the business. But we are doing our best. And on this channel, like I said, this comparison video is coming out of that inventory shortage, but I do think it's closer than I thought. I've actually cross-shopped both these cars before. Really quick, we got 28 people on. We only have 4 likes. That's way down. So some of you regulars, if you don't mind hitting the like button right now, if you're not a regular with us, you can still hit the like button. But if I have to earn it, I'll do my best to earn that for you, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. 3-minute mark right now. 3-minute mark. Okay, here we go. Real quickly, if you want to know what we're doing on a live video any day, or see what you're going to miss or not miss, there's our Instagram channel. Feel free to follow us. Every single day I put a story up of what's to come. So you can, if you missed this live, you can always comment on Instagram and tell me what you may want to know in the live video. Or we can just, you can give me ideas of what things that you might want to see, and we'll go from there. All right, so really quickly, this is my personal Santa Cruz. It's a 2022 Santa Cruz Limited. You'll notice the wheels are not like any other Santa Cruz you've seen. I just put winter wheels on there, so those are the fast wheels, the EV03 wheels. Not a big deal. So that is a limited, ultimate, top trim, whatever you want to call it, Santa Cruz. And we're going to compare it to the top trim Kia Telluride. Now, of course, there's a lot of reasons why this isn't a fair comparison. First of all, this vehicle costs a lot more than that vehicle. There's a whole bunch of things, but there's a lot of similarities here. And I think if you start from a place of a great outdoorsy kind of vehicle, and I know there's somebody online that gave me a hard time because he says these aren't outdoorsy vehicles. You have to have like a Jeep Wrangler, I guess, to go off-road. I disagree with that. But if you're the outdoorsy kind of person, you want to take things to outdoorsy spots, these are great options. They are also 2 options. The only option in the Kia lineup right now that tows 5,000 pounds, and one of, actually I think the only option in the Hyundai lineup that tows 5,000 pounds as well. So these both are capable of towing 5,000 pounds. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about pros and cons of the body style. We're going to talk about technology in each of these vehicles, and we're going to go super, super in-depth. So somebody asked the Santa Cruz question about the winter tires. I'll talk about that in a second as well. Really quickly, let's just compare and jump into the pricing here. So pricing, because these vehicles do not compare equally on pricing, I have an SX Limited. So you can see the SX Limited is $55,195. Now that doesn't mean, this is Canadian pricing, MSRP. That doesn't mean that you can't buy one for right around the same price as a Santa Cruz. It just means that you're going to have different equipment. I happen to choose the top of line in part because we have it, and in part because some of the technology in here is shared between these two vehicles. But you can certainly get a Telluride in the same price, and you'll be able to decide if it's the features you want or if it's the body style and where that works. So the Telluride, again, 45-ish or 46-ish to 55-ish. We're looking at a 55 today. And if you go to the Santa Cruz, you're looking at the 44,799 is the one we have today. So right around 45,000 again for my vehicle that I'm going to have up there today. Let's go back to there so I can see your questions. All right. So, oops, excuse me, didn't mean to flip that around there. So when we talk about these two vehicles, let's just talk about overall sizing because they are actually very, very similar in size. This, I know you guys don't like metric if you're from the States, but metric is what I have, so we'll deal with some metric numbers. This vehicle here and that vehicle there are 3 centimeters difference, 5,000 millimeters, 4970. So let's call it an inch different in length. The Telluride is 1 inch or so longer, 3 centimeters longer than the Santa Cruz. So in other words, they'll both fit in your garage. And that's a big thing for a larger SUV. Some of the larger SUVs don't fit in the garage, but these ones should. Wheelbase is actually the opposite. The Santa Cruz has the longer wheelbase than the Telluride. So that's the difference between the center of, actually, let's just show you here because I can see it. The center of the wheel to the center of the wheel back there, that's called your wheelbase. Santa Cruz is a little bit longer wheelbase there. 8.6 inches of ground clearance on the Santa Cruz, 8 inches of ground clearance on the Telluride. And then you get into engines, and the engines are different. And this is an interesting thing to me because, again, both of these vehicles tow 5,000 pounds, but they're going to do it in different ways using different technologies. This is a 3.8 liter V6 engine, and it runs the Atkinson cycle, which is generally known as a fairly efficient cycle. The difference with the Atkinson cycle is it can take some torque away. Now, the Kia's technology is actually pretty good on that. So efficiency-wise, let's just first of all talk about power. 291 horsepower here and 262 foot-pounds of torque. Over on the Santa Cruz, you have a 4-cylinder turbo engine. So 3.8 six-cylinder, 4-cylinder turbo there. 281 horsepower, so 10 less horsepower there than here. But you also have significantly more torque, 311 foot-pounds of torque. So 311 foot-pounds of torque there and 262 foot-pounds of torque there. But the smaller engine gives you torque at lower RPMs. From 1,700 to 4,000 RPM, you have maximum torque on the Santa Cruz. On this one, you get maximum torque at 5,200. So you're revving this one out to get to that maximum torque number, whereas this one, you've got maximum torque down at lower numbers. But again, 10 less horsepower. So kind of an interesting way to do things. Actually fairly similar horsepower numbers, 10 horsepower difference, but totally different engines to do that. So let's take a look at some of these advantages and disadvantages. We're going to start with the technology in both these cars. And why don't we start in the Telluride? First of all, Telluride is far, far more luxurious. There's no way around it. The ultimate is the top trim line of the Santa Cruz, and I quite like the luxury in that. But we're going to show you a couple things that just make this nicer. You do have the lumbar support. You have the powered seats here. You do have this extension here, which I love. This extension here is bringing that piece out there, and I'm extending it all the way out here. And I'm also going to bring it back in just so you can see the difference. It doesn't look like a lot on video, but in person, when you sit on this seat, it actually feels quite a bit different in the size of the seat. So when you're sharing this vehicle between a couple people, these seats are bigger. Are they more comfortable? That's going to depend on who you are. They're certainly probably capable of being more comfortable. Both vehicles have heated and ventilated seats. This one has a headliner that's really cool to the touch. It's really soft touch, but it looks terrible on camera. And you can see fingerprints here on camera. It doesn't look nearly that bad in person. So again, it looks bad on camera maybe, but it's not as bad as it looks. It looks quite nice in person. Advantages here, you have a smallish sunroof compared to some, like a normal size sunroof, which will compete with the Santa Cruz, but of course, rear seats also have a sunroof back there. Let's flip around to the technology over here. Turning the vehicle on. Ooh, my seat's moving forward. I gotta admit, guys, really quickly, these cars, I brought them in from the outside, and the outside snow has melted off of them. It snowed today, and it's snowing actually right now a little bit. But inside, the seats are still freezing cold right now. So I'm going to turn my rump roasters on, which I don't usually do, just because I need to do that right now. All right, so technology in here, you've got quite a bit, but you have the regular standard style gauges here. So no digital display, but basically the same basic information inside. Now, you don't have a lane follow assist the same way you will in the Santa Cruz, but you do have a lane keeping assist function here. But basically, one of the cool things, if I just quickly start the car for a second and signal left here, there is my left side of the vehicle. If I signal right, there's my right side of the vehicle. And that is, let me just turn the car off because we don't want to gas anybody out in the building. That is a part of this 360 camera system. So you have a bird's eye 360 rear view camera in this car. And when you have that, it allows you to have side mirrors that can repurpose the camera in the side mirror. So there's a mirror in that, or there's a camera in that mirror there. And the camera can be digitally set to view your blind spot or digitally set to sort of view straight down. When it views your blind spot, it's kind of a handy feature. And the Telluride was the first Kia car that we saw with that feature, and that's in here. You do have a big, large display in here, like you can see, nice speedometer. But of course, on this one, you also have, if I can get it in focus here. Oh, my camera can't find it. There we go. Just like LED lights, they kind of disappear on camera. This is a heads-up display that you see in the screen, and this is on the windshield, which is quite a nice feature here to have the heads-up display in the windshield. You can add a lot of information there. Over here, you have Kia's version of our software, which is a little bit more purple. Hyundai's version is a little bit more blue, but it is essentially basically the exact same software. This car has a couple different features because you have third row seats. You have a passenger talk where you can speak to them through a microphone that only goes to the rear speakers. You won't have that in the Santa Cruz because, let's face it, you have less space to talk. So yeah, I get to live through your videos again, Dream Car. Not a sold sign. Oh yeah, all of these cars are either sold or they are demonstration only right now. So I'm going through sold cars. Down here you have what's actually technically a tri-zone air conditioning. Again, 3 rows of seats, you have air conditioning in the rear, but a dual zone climate system here. And again, if we're comparing these two cars, you're going to be comfortable either way. Heated and ventilated seats. When I turn the car off, the seat turned off. So heated and ventilated seats, wireless phone charging down here, USB, and 12-volt ports over there. 8-speed traditional transmission, whereas the other one has an 8-speed dual clutch transmission, and basically identical drive modes. I don't know if I have an eco mode in mine. I don't think so. I think I have 3 modes in the Santa Cruz, and you have the same snow, mud, and sand. If you are Americans, you guys don't get this. Canadians do, and I think that, no offense, but makes our cars a little bit better. Backup beepers as well, and of course, we'll show you the backup camera here, jumping into the backup camera. Backup camera there again, there's that 360 view, and there's that regular view, and there's, again, a lot of cool views you can do. You can look at just the side of the vehicle. There's a drop on the mirror right now. We can wipe that off, but yeah. So you have the backup camera, and when you put it to drive from the backup camera, in this one doesn't do it unless it's on, it will show you the forward camera as well. So all sorts of cameras on this. Really quickly look at the mirror. You can open your garage doors with these buttons here. You'll see that's a little bit different on the Hyundai Santa Cruz. And you also have what they call UVO Intelligence here, which we call Blue Link in the Hyundai world. Basically, both these cars have nearly identical apps on your phone that can remote start the car, lock the car, do all kinds of things. So Telluride, overall more luxury. We're going to get to some of the big differences, but from the driver's seat, a lot of the same features. You sit kind of tall, feels like a fairly wide vehicle. Certainly a wider feeling vehicle in the Telluride, but not exceptionally wide compared to the Tucson. I say Tucson, compared to the Santa Cruz. All right, let's jump over to the Santa Cruz now. We'll show you just quickly in there. I will say one thing this car has that the Santa Cruz doesn't have and should. This one has memory seats, so memory driver's seat, which you don't have over here. This one's dirty. Again, sorry guys, it's a snowy day here today, or a busy day as well, and I didn't have time to clean my own car, which is driving on the actual roads right now. You'll also notice I just tinted the front windows, so this is to remind me during the video not to react and do what I normally do. All right, down here, same level of power seats, but not the extension out the front. Again, I think that's an advantage for some people, especially if you're really tall. It may be something that you want in the car, and you can't get that in the Santa Cruz. Jumping inside, the overall feel of this car, it's just a little bit more compact, but still very spacious. The overall feel of the dash is laid out and away from you. I personally think this is really nice, and you can see what happens with these screens. So here's what we're gonna do because there's no buttons or knobs. You're gonna keep a little microfiber cloth in here. You're gonna wipe everything down like that, and your screen is as clear as can be. So overall, kind of a clean look here. One thing that's some people like, oh, the keys, oh, hold on a second here. My keys in my jacket. I need to do 2 things, guys. I'm gonna disappear for a second while I take the Bluetooth off so it doesn't go through my Bluetooth speakers on my phone, and then I'm gonna go get my key. I'll be right back, stay with me here. All right, are we still there? Somebody give me a comment, let me know we're still there. we'll go get my jacket on, and that'll get my key in my pocket for my own personal vehicle. All right. Okay. What I'm going to do is just stick my jacket in the back of the vehicle. Okay, you can still hear me perfect. Sorry about that, guys. So when you use your own vehicle, funny things happen. All right, so let's throw my jacket in the car here just so we have the key in the vehicle. I've turned my Bluetooth off so it won't switch over to the Bluetooth. All right, shutting the doors. I do apologize, guys. All right, turning the car on. Let's just do this here. Digital dash, full digital dash. A lot of people think this is more impressive. I think it's pretty cool looking. They do some cool things with the dash here. You can see all kinds of different types of things. There's your navigation information, your all-wheel drive system. Again, all of this is still in the Telluride. You've got this sort of view of your smart cruise control, highway drive assist. This one with lane follow assist and intelligent speed limit assist is a little bit more advanced system. So I can tell you that if you're looking at these cars, if you're starting from a place like, let's say I have a 3,000-pound trailer, you're not really going to tow a 3,000-pound camping trailer with something that tows 3,500 pounds as a max, because you're going to overload it with your family and your gear. So let's say you're saying you got a 3,000-pound trailer. Either one of these cars will tow it with no issue, and that may be a starting point. So then you come down to, okay, luxury features. Luxury features, Telluride's going to win out. Slight technology advantages in this model year of the Santa Cruz. Things like intelligent speed limit assist, which we can talk about in a little bit different video. You do get in the Santa Cruz. But overall, you have a fairly luxurious feel. This one to me feels a little bit more sporty car-ish, where that one feels a little bit more luxurious. And I think that plays out in the handling of these vehicles as well. This one feels a little more peppy to me. And again, it's got that torque number down low in the revs. It also seems to corner a little bit better, which makes some sense. It's a little bit lower to the center of gravity, I would think. I could be wrong on that, but I would think it is. And but overall feel technology-wise is just a general slight step up here. Again, Hyundai and Kia basically share the same software here, so you can sort of swipe across here and see all kinds of different things. Basically the same controls here. We can talk about that different later. You have an automatic climate control system here. This has a lot of glare on the camera, but no real glare in real life. When you have two eyes looking instead of one, it sort of takes away the glare. Ambient lighting in both vehicles. This is a cool little function that's here on the Santa Cruz, is you can see these little holes right there in the dash. So instead of just having the vents there, blow the air, you can diffuse the air across the entire front of the vehicle, which is pretty cool, including in here. So you just kind of feel the air come at you as a gentle breeze instead of it directing it in different areas. So I just think that's a cool function. Not a big difference. Now, coming down here, 8-speed automatic transmission. That one has an 8-speed automatic. This one has an 8-speed dual clutch. A little bit faster shifting performance type transmission in this one. Technically, they do this for fuel efficiency, but we'll talk about fuel efficiency in just a second. Jumping into reverse here, you can see the same 360 camera over here. So my car is quite dirty, so you can see the backup camera is dirty there. But same idea with the 360 camera. When you put it into drive, I get the forward view here, and again, you can see the front wheels there if you wanted to. And you can see, so this is beside the vehicle. There's the rear wheels there. So same basic camera in both of these cars. And we'll put it back in park. Paddle shifters on this car. I don't know if the Telluride had that. I'll have to double check that one. I don't know that matters. But so overall driver's seat, a little bit more compact here. If you're 6-footer like me or below, you're not going to have any issue. If you're 6'5", Telluride's going to be the one that you want to have. Still have a sunroof, but no rear sunroof. We showed the buttons on the mirror. They're now underneath the mirror to open the garage, and then you have your UVO intelligence on the Kia, and this is the blue link here on the Hyundai right there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go out and take your questions. Then we're going to go rear seat and cargo space where these vehicles are different, and I'm going to start talking about how these are actually very similar cars. So driver's seat, maybe not be the same, but we'll talk about some differences here as well. If you haven't left a like yet, go ahead, leave one. I understand this is going to have fewer people than normal because these aren't a normal, natural comparison for people, but see if we can get to, let's see, 40 likes today. We've probably turned off a few people already with like, hey, these aren't comparable vehicles. So actually, let's just talk one quickly before we take your questions. One of the reasons these are similar vehicles, they actually do share components. The rear suspension on this is load leveling rear suspension. So that means when you load it up with weight, the vehicle will squat. If you drive around the block, it will level itself out. The top line Tellurides also have that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's just shared componentry. The Tucson and the Santa Cruz are built on a shared platform. Now, it's a heavily modified platform for each vehicle, but a lot of people say that this rides like a Tucson. It doesn't. It rides closer to a Telluride as far as smoothness. That might be the longer wheelbase, but it might be because they share some of that suspension componentry out back. The other thing that's kind of cool is that this one comes with 20-inch wheels. So does this one. And when this one was testing, there are spy shots of this vehicle testing in towing testing with these wheels on it. So I'm betting you could probably just bolt one wheel off, one off the one and put it on the other. So some similarities there as well. All right, let's take your questions real quick. I don't think there'll be a whole lot, but if there are questions, we'll go through that. And then I'm going to go and start showing you some, just what I think is some cool differences here. How long does it take to get them? I think the Santa Cruz, we're looking at a March build. The Telluride, I think, is just a hair longer than that right now. I don't know them off the top of my head. Can you do a comparison for similar terms of the Tucson and the Santa Fe? I will try if they are in stock, no question. Hey, Telluride is in hang around. Hey, the Telluride is hang around. I'll get all blacked out. Telluride wheel cutouts look like hearts. Yeah, some people think, especially on video, in person these look different, but on video they film differently than they look in real life. So yeah, I can see that there. All right, that particular set of Telluride is sold. Yes, it is. I thought Palisade and Telluride were similar. Palisade and Telluride are definitely similar. Palisade is made in Korea. Telluride is made in the USA. So is the Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is also made in the USA. So we're talking about two American vehicles here. You know, Korean companies, but American made. Can I put snow tires for my 2020 Equinox on the Santa Cruz? Probably not. The wheels will be different and the bolt pattern will be different and the offset will probably be different. The tires may work. I don't know what's on the Equinox, but the bolt pattern probably will not work. How does the Santa Cruz work with snow tires and what kind? So I happen to have Viking Contact 7s and the car is incredibly boring in the snow. And what that means is there is no drama at all. It is planted, it is secure. I used to have a Jeep Wrangler, which was a blast to do donuts in. You can't do donuts in the Santa Cruz. It is super steady, super, it grips the road between the electronics and the snow tires. All right, next 10 minutes of this video, I think is the fun part. We're going to talk about some of these cool differences and some of the advantages that you may not think about. So, Telluride first. We're not going to jump in the third row today because if you're comparing these two vehicles, you won't need the third row. You do get better rear seats here by a lot than in the Santa Cruz. Now, that doesn't mean the Santa Cruz doesn't have adult fitting seats. We'll show you that in a second. But I'm comfortable back here. Not only do I have heated seats here, I have ventilated seats in this trim. This car is significantly more expensive. So if you went down to the lower trim, you wouldn't have heated or ventilated seats down here, and it would actually be a bench seat. But you have width here in the back seat. You have headroom. You've got immense legroom. I think this seat actually came back when I turned the vehicle off, but there's tons of legroom. My seats are on here. If you value your passengers more than your cargo, which you should, then this is going to be the better car. However, it just depends on what your overall goals are. But again, more space here. You've got USB ports on the back of the seats here, which I think is really cool. You've got a big pocket with a small pocket. You've got cup holders here in the center, and then a little hanger here. An extra 115 volt plug, which is in the cargo area of the Santa Cruz. So it's outside the vehicle. So if you're charging a laptop, the Santa Cruz has to do it in the bed area. There's a trunk there as well, but here you can do it inside. So overall, Telluride wins by a mile in the rear seat. When I say by a mile, let's just go show you what the difference is. I'm gonna jump in the back seat of my own personal Santa Cruz now. I'm sitting behind myself, literally. I drive this car. Overall, I'm comfortable here. Actually, the back angle is perfectly fine. Headroom is good because my head sits up here. It is more tight in here, and where you see that the most is right there. Knee space, instead of having immense knee space, I just have enough. My legs are comfortably on the seat, so that's not a big deal. But there's no heated seats back here in any level of Santa Cruz, so that is something to keep in mind. You do have vents back here. And instead of having the USB ports in the seat, you have the USB ports down there. You still have a pocket on both seats, so that's fine. And you have cup holders in the door, which is just a little different way to do it, but that's the way they've done it. One thing you don't have is a sunroof, but you do have a little opening window out back here, which can give some nice sort of cross-through breeze when you open the front sunroof on this one, because this one only has one sunroof. So let's talk about what sacrifices you're gonna make, because this is where you have to make a decision, and it comes to right here. Now, Telluride, the biggest advantage, of course, is everything is enclosed. It's a power-operated tailgate. And when you fold these seats down, which I'll do for you right now, because again, if we're comparing these two, we don't need these seats. Oh, maybe I can't. Hold on a second, guys. There's some floor mats here. Bear with me, guys. Sorry for the terrible camera work. All right. Put those seats down. Put these seats down. All right. So there is the Telluride with the seats down. You have a lot of space here. And how much space? Well, let's do our teddy bear test. Teddy bear here is going to jump in. Body to the back. It is a 2+ tailgate area. It's fairly wide here. You can see he's comfortable. And of course, it's inside. Now, the positive with the inside is I could continue to fold those seats down and have even more space inside the vehicle. You can't fold the seats down in a Santa Cruz. You can, however, legally put things out beyond the tailgate, which we'll show you in a second as well. So long items here are going to hang out the back of the vehicle. Long items here will be inside, but they will be taking up passenger space if they go further. So teddy bear's got some pretty good space. The other disadvantage with an SUV if you're camping is if you have gone to the beach. All of the beach sand from your kids is going to be in your SUV. If you do some kayaking and there's some mud and some dirt and some other stuff, all of that mud and dirt and maybe smelly stuff is going to live with you for the week that you are camping inside your vehicle. That's an advantage of moving to the Santa Cruz. And the Santa Cruz is less of a pickup truck alternative than it is a SUV alternative. And the reason that I like some of these things is if you want an enclosed cargo cover that's theft proof, it's not fully weatherproof, although it seems to keep all the snow and the rain out of the bed. If the bed's wet, it's because I've had this open and closed in the snow outside this morning. But you do have this cargo cover, which is quite strong. You can apparently put 220 pounds on here. I haven't done that. But you do still have an enclosed indoor cargo cover if you want. Now, put the tailgate down, and you have a bed. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this back. And now it's an open bed. So the benefit, of course, of this is if you have smelly, dirty, whatever cargo stuff, and you're away camping for a week, you can leave it out here. If you go to the beach and your beach towels are covered in sand, you can throw it in here, hose it out when you're done, and that's great. Now, a lot of pickup trucks don't have this, and this was a big feature for me. I had a pickup truck before I had this, and if I have anything that I want to keep away from my kids, even if it's, let's say, my computers or something like that, I don't want them sitting with the stuff in the computers in there because they might break it. So I can put it in here. That is a traditional trunk. It's smaller than a regular trunk, but you don't need a massive trunk because you've got a massive area here. The other thing is I've put my snow brush in here. You can see it's wet in there. I can rinse it out, wipe it out. There's drain plugs in there and you can clean out. You can use that as a cooler if you wanted. So a lot of versatility here, but no matter what you stick in the bed, whether it's in the trunk or out here, it can be wet, it can be dirty, it can be anything you want, and the car can handle it, and you don't smell it or deal with it inside. That to me is a big advantage. So now let's take Teddy Bear, who, by the way, does not fit in this trunk. Maybe we'll show you there. You can see I got a little bit of dirt in there because I use the truck for truck stuff. Let's take Teddy Bear for a quick second. Teddy Bear in here. We're going to put him underneath that strap. Oh, I can't even reach. So what we're going to do is we're going to climb up into the bed, which is done very simply. A lot of people mess up these steps. They think, oh, there's extra steps. Those steps are there because when the tailgate's down, those are the only steps you can use to get in. So it's step there and step there. So we're going to use those steps right now. Maybe I'll try to show you here. Oh, boy. Step there and step there. So that makes it way easier to get in here. Hey, Teddy Bear. You're looking good, buddy. You're doing a really good job for me. Thank you. I have to be nice to my teddy bear. Okay, jumping out here. I got a bad back, so I'm going to use the step for a second so I don't hurt myself again. Teddy bear again, probably similar space to the Telluride, two and a bit space. Obviously lower, but again, when you fit that cargo cover back, you can strap things on taller, and you do have tie downs everywhere. There's these tie downs which are adjustable. There's these tie downs down here. There's this tie down up here. There's more on the floor and the front down there. So you can tie everything you want down if you had the bed open and keep it that way. And that's kind of the decision you're going to make between these two vehicles. Do I want something when I have long cargo to hang out the back and hang out the top? Or do I have to have it covered and inside and potentially take some of my passenger space away? It depends on the kind of traveling you're going to do. You've got roof racks here, which are shorter. You've got roof racks there, which are longer. But you can strap down, for instance, a canoe or kayak or something like that to the front and back from there. And you can do the same thing over here, but you have some advantages there. So really, the cargo space is the thing. 5,000 pounds of towing, it's going to tow differently with torque down low and more torque in the Santa Cruz than it will in the Telluride, but both are very capable of towing extra weight. And I'm going to be perfectly blunt and honest. I don't recommend towing 5,000 pounds with these vehicles. I don't think that's what they're made for. They're rated to tow up to that amount, but if you read the owner's manual, as you start loading up vehicles and other things, tongue weight, that kind of thing, it will go down. Same with every other car. If you have a 3,000 pound trailer, 3,500 pound trailer, these are perfect because you're not going to be overweight when you're towing them, and you still have pretty good efficiency. So let's talk efficiency numbers, because that's an interesting number to me as well. We'll take your questions in just 1 second. I'll try not to take Teddy Bear home with me tonight. One thing I want to talk with fuel efficiency is 3.8 liter V6 is rated for 12.7 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 9.7 on the highway. So 12.797, 12.186. Even though that's a 4-cylinder turbo, the fuel efficiency savings, they're there, but they're not massive. I mean, 8.6 is a significant savings on the highway, but around town, these are going to be similar. So when you get the power of a turbo, you pay for it in a little bit of efficiency. Both are good. You should test drive if I can. So we're going to start doing test drive videos here in the next little while. I have some plans for that. That'll happen in 2022 for sure, so don't worry, we'll do some of that. But yeah, I'm going to be very honest. We actually compared these two cars when we bought this one for us. I really wanted the bed. My wife really liked the styling of this better than the Santa Cruz. Obviously, if you're taking people, they're going to be, there's more room for them in the back here, and you've got an extra 3 seats in the third row seat. For me, I was so used to having our pickup truck and being able to take the dirt and the other stuff, the smelly stuff, especially since we go camping for a week. We can keep things like our barbecue in the back, and it won't stink up our camper trailer or anything else. It tows the trailer just fine with both. So yeah, fuel efficiency, similar. The 4-cylinder is better, but not by a whole lot. All right, gonna go back, take your questions here. Let's flip it around here. Okay, which auto has higher line of sight? Oops, let me just flip around to me. Let me just read that again. Sorry, somebody just asked a question, and I missed it on the thing, so let me just read it here. Oops, I got dirt on my hands. All right. Which auto has a higher line of sight? Incoming headlights are a problem for me. Santa Cruz looks lower. Okay, so both are fairly tall. I think if you stuck my head in there, you could probably move it across and set it maybe a couple inches lower. They're both fairly tall. The Santa Cruz looks stylistically like a car when you just view it on its own. But when you look at it from the front, I mean, this hood here is probably similar to this hood right here. So although it curls down a little bit, it's a taller car than it looks like in person. So yes, the Santa Cruz might be down a hair, but they are both very, very similar. When am I going to do a Seltos review again? As soon as we have a Seltos in. Currently, we don't have a Seltos in stock. Let me flip it around. So yeah, now speaking of the headlights being in your view, headlights are actually set lower in the Santa Cruz, which also helps with other people. But they're both very similar for height of driving. Okay. Peter, better to take him home with you than leave him in the Telluride. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. Want to buy a Seltos for my first car. GT line. We don't have GT line Seltos in Canada. Okay, so I don't see a ton of questions in here. See some comments in there. All right. So we're going to leave it there. I think that's about it. So why would I compare these? If you want to tow a heavier weight trailer, we're not going to go full 5,000 pounds, but if you're going to tow a heavier weight trailer, these are your two best options from each company. If you want a lot of technology, this is a cheaper way to get a lot of the technology that's in this car, and that was one of my reasons for buying. I like all the technology in this car, and the stuff that mattered to me is in that car at a less expensive price. When you get the Telluride at the same price as this Santa Cruz, you're losing some of the technology that I would have preferred. You still gain that interior space, which makes sense, but I still think this will steal sales from crossovers more than it'll steal sales from pickup trucks, and that's an option to have there. So we took a risk today, guys. We compared two vehicles with inventory shortage that maybe you wouldn't compare. We got 41-ish likes according to me. I think we were going, I don't remember what we were going for. Were we going for 40 or 45? So it looks like we got close enough. Obviously, less people on with this video, and that makes some sense. If you are looking, like me, for a vehicle that can tow, that has great technology, that is very luxurious, then both of these vehicles should be on your list. Now, again, price point's going to be different, and that's up to you to decide. But I do think for an outdoor adventure type person, both these vehicles are excellent. The all-wheel drive system with the train system is excellent. We talked about them in the snow. I still recommend winter tires no matter which one you drive. But when you get winter tires on either of these vehicles, the way it works is all four wheels, they spin together. And the traction control, stability control, all of those things, you give those computer systems a little bit of traction, and they can do amazing things. Like I said, they're almost boring to drive in the snow simply because they hold onto the road so very well. So I think we'll just leave it there, guys. It's been fun. We did something different. We'll try to get back to some traditional stuff, more logical comparisons in the future. But like I said, if you're looking to tow 5,000 pounds, you want something that's got a lot of luxury, there's two options for you. And hey, we tried something new. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. I think we'll do some Hyundai vehicles tomorrow. I haven't decided what we're doing yet, but we'll talk to them and figure it out. And again, if you want to follow us on Instagram, give us some suggestions or of what vehicles you'd like us to see from us, you can just follow us there. And that's also a good place to see what's coming up. So thanks everybody for watching. It's been fun. We'll talk to you again in the next one.